let's start with the fires then. So you've been busy with that?
Now, where we have so much data over the fires in LA, we're like, you need a picture of your house, you need a picture of that area. We started taking pictures immediately and put them on the internet.
Gabe Dominocielo is the president and co-founder of Umbra, a technology company started in 2015, specializing in advanced space systems for both commercial and government clients. Under his leadership, Umbra has distinguished itself by offering the highest resolution commercial satellite images available, utilizing proprietary technology to capture clear imagery through clouds and at night.
The amount of money they've spent on AI to shoot down a drone is
Insane.
Actually, guys, they literally cannot do it.
I'm terrified.
Oh god, this is a great story.
Yo, okay, Gabe, welcome. Finally, this is a long time in the making. I think you rescheduled on me like 9 times.
Maybe more.
It's because you're a busy dude, and because Umbra obviously is a roaring business that's
Yeah.
firing off. All right, let's start with the fires then. So you've been busy with that?
Okay, so the fires in LA, like the Pacific Palisades and all that weed. Okay, I'll explain what Umbra does. So
Yeah, you got to.
yeah, Umbra, we came up with the idea probably 10 years ago, but then we built and launched a satellite that is able to see through clouds.
You gotta say invented, bro. You invented it.
We invented it.
Yeah.
But it's the form factor. There's a lot of things that go into invention, but I'll to simplify it.
Yeah.
My co-founder, who was at what became Northrop Grumman, spent 10 years working on advanced space systems. And he's like, I have an idea for a satellite. I was like, okay, what's your satellite? And he's like, my satellite can see through clouds. It can see at night. And we can see something the size of a soda can. And I was like, okay, what's NASA's satellite? And he's like, well, it's very different. NASA has a satellite, it sees 4 to 7 meters. And naturally, I was like, well, what's a meter? I'm an American.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I think of it like a yard. I was like, okay, I know what a yard is because I know what football is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he's like, so I was like, so, but you can see a soda can and they can only see like 4 to 7 yards. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's like, what's their satellite cost? And he's like, $1 billion. And I was like, their satellite costs $1 billion, and like a giant cargo ship is like 1 or 2 pick. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And he's like, yeah, no, that's the problem. I was like, and we went and we started this journey. So fast forward 9 years, I think we started. This would have
been 2013, 2014 started then. Yeah. Okay.
And so fast forward, NASA still has not launched that satellite, NISAR. It overran its budget by $800 million, meaning the prime contractors who were on that contract increased their profit by.
So it's like a cost plus.
It's a cost plus
deal.
total nightmare.
Everyone's favorite kind.
Yes, everyone's favorite kind.
I want some of those.
Yeah,
Let me get some of that. Let me get some of that.
Yeah, fail and make more money.
Yeah.
But since then, we've launched 10 satellites. We took the highest resolution commercial image from space, and now, where we have so much data over the fires in LA, we're like, dude, you need a picture of your house, you need a picture of that area. We started taking pictures immediately and put them on the internet.
Yeah.
And so firefighters using it, I'd see New York Times using it, NOAA's using it, everyone's using the data for free, Creative Commons, and people are getting insights that they would not get otherwise.
So you're an inventor, entrepreneur, now humanitarian.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think I'm just lucky to not be a janitor, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, actually, what's the origin story? Like, what was before Umbra? Like, I think the people want to know.
So, okay, well, before Umbra...
Like, what were you doing?
Well...
Janitoring.
I wish it was janitoring. Before Umbra, I was in college. So I went to college. I went to Chico State, which is a party school in California.
I know Chico State. All the Marketo sales guys went to Chico State.
Of course, they're the best.
Yeah.
Because they know how to network.
They crush it.
They crush.
Yeah.
And so I went to Chico State, which is great. And when I'm from Santa Barbara, it's a very wealthy community, but I don't come from a rich family. And
when you went to Chico State, I can tell,
Yeah,
I went to Penn State, Chico State, all the great state schools.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I get into the third best, like, mid-tier school?
The third best mid-tier.
Yeah, in California. That's also a state school. When I graduated, I went back to Santa Barbara and kind of talked to all my friends' rich parents and was like, hey, I need a job. And my last conversation was with this very famous trial lawyer. And he was He's like, I have a job for you. I just paid an $800,000 referral fee to another lawyer. And this lawyer did no work. I literally just got an email from him. And I was like, how do I get $800,000
Yeah, give me that.
for doing no work and just
Yeah,
sending an email?
that's what I want.
Yeah. And so we started a company together, which is really interesting. It was a legal services company. So essentially this is a long time ago. So 06, 07.
Yeah, right before the iPhone came out.
For the
It was
iPhone.
before iPhone.
AdWords didn't have quality score. Like you could just put in lawyer, and you'd be number one.
Yeah.
Like it was great. And so we used the internet to advertise, and then we would get cases, send them to lawyers, and make 30% what the lawyers made. So do that for 10 years. But over time, you have competitors. Google realizes you
That's when the margin compression came in.
Yes, the margin compression was quite aggressive.
Yeah.
But it was a really great experience, a great company. I mean, still exists today.
So you basically went Chico State right into building companies.
Oh yeah, I never
Had a real job.
ever.
Okay.
I was a valet in high school.
Okay. I had real jobs.
You had real
A
jobs?
naval officer.
Oh yeah.
In
Yeah.
high school, I worked at Subway,
Oh, that's nice.
sandwich artist. But
Yeah,
I guess
real jobs.
I had to say I was a salesperson at a software company.
But you learn a lot from that.
Yeah. And so I had real jobs first. But then I was 28 when I started startups. When I started companies. I was late. I was a late bloomer.
Oh yeah, I was 21. I don't know.
I wish I would have started when I was 21, honestly. That'd be way better.
But the thing is, I have very little context. What you have to have is a high level of empathy and compassion for your employees. And if you don't understand what it is like to have a job.
So you basically said you're not an empathetic leader. Nice. All right.
No, I read books.
You got people for that.
I read a lot of books.
Yeah, but reading and experiencing are two different things.
Yeah, I don't
understand
I don't understand it at all.
You got to try to really just trust the author, I guess.
Yeah, you trust the author, but I think the main thing with building an organization is not being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like that's number one.
Obviously.
But it's not obvious. Like we know a lot of founders. It's a ton of fun.
Well, that's the thing. Like you read all these stories of like Steve Jobs being mean, and then other founders read it and they're like, I gotta be mean. I gotta be a dick.
It's so ineffective.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah.
None of them like that at all.
No.
Yeah, but they think it's like there's like people that have been like it's codified in stories and myths now, like these famous entrepreneurs who are like famous dicks.
Yeah.
And then you have these like kids that come up and they read that stuff and they're like, I could be like that. I could be me.
But
if the pixels are 2 pixels off, and then they yell at the person for
it's dumb. It doesn't work because you have to have a non-toxic organization, especially as you're going to scale.
Yeah.
I'm sure Steve Jobs was nice in early days.
Also, a lot of it's just like revisionist history. I'm sure he's actually probably fine. Just like people cherry pick these stories and
Well, also, if you're a dick to only leadership, so like whatever, when Apple is worth like $500 billion, you can be a dick to only your leadership.
Yeah.
And then as long as they're nice, it's fine. With like thousands of
That's
people.
true. That's true. So wait, so you're picking up any drone activity and the satellite over California,
Oh God, we talked about this.
I don't know. You said you could see a soda can. So you can definitely see a drone.
Okay, without boring everybody of the physics. So the Earth spins like this, the satellites orbit.
Oh, great. Physics
And-
lessons from a
yeah,
Chico
so-
State
there
Chico
you
State
go.
grad. Here we go.
Yeah, so it'll be simple.
Yeah.
But we have what's called a synthetic aperture radar satellite.
Yeah.
So there's two ways that you can have a large aperture or antenna. You have a large physical antenna, which we have, and then you take samples as you travel. You're falling 20,000 miles an hour to Earth, and as you are falling, you are taking samples of the ground.
Yeah.
We measure the distance between the Earth and the satellite, and then produce a picture based on those measurements. But if something else is moving, you don't really see a picture of it.
Yeah.
You see what's called, like, you get a Doppler effect. It looks like a streak.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
So you're getting some Doppler effects, maybe.
Well, I don't know. I'm not looking at it. I don't understand. The computers are looking at it.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so you're an investor in Firehawk.
I am.
Is that true?
Yeah.
For which round? Early days?
Oh, God. This is a great story.
Yeah. Yeah, how do we get it?
So, okay. Will. Okay.
Oh, wait, what does Firehawk do first?
Okay. Firehawk makes 3D printed rocket fuel
Okay.
for weapons, for like missiles or whatever. But it could be used for many things, not just weapons. So Will is like this like good looking, tall, nice guy.
Honestly, great looking.
He's so
When I
so
say
handsome.
good, bro, great.
He's great looking.
Okay, great.
He's great
All
looking.
right.
His wife's also very
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, and I want to be an investor in Cali Sober, her company.
Oh yeah,
I
well,
want. Yeah,
his wife's Cali
yeah,
Sober.
yeah,
So okay, picturesque model couple,
beautiful.
and Will's walking around Austin holding like rocket fuel, and it's like an explosive, and he's like walking around with it. And so I stopped him and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I have this thing," and he explains.
You just
it.
met him there? Like you stopped?
I
him
literally just stopped
him on the street.
Just stopped on the street.
Yeah,
He's like,
okay.
"What is?" We're like a defense
Yeah,
company.
you're like, what's the deal, bro?
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, we have this financing," and like, so there was like rumors that a large prime contractor was going to make an investment in a company. I didn't know it was his. And then I like was like, "Please, please, please let me invest." And he's like, "Dude, stop crying. Like, you can invest." So me, Hal Lambert, and someone else, I won't say who it is, all invested. I think it was their
Seed round?
seed, yeah.
Nice. That was probably what, 2-3 years ago or 4 years ago? I don't know
Yeah.
how long.
Yeah, I mean it's like a 10x from that.
I mean, it's popping, obviously. Let me
Yeah,
get a
yeah.
piece of that.
It's a great, I mean, it is a great company. And the thing is, when you watch these companies, you have some companies that are so overhyped.
Yeah.
And you watch like, we did this demo, and I'm like, Will did that like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, and they were getting these juiced valuations. So
I mean, that's the thing, Will's got to earn I told Will, he's not in the cool club, so he's got to earn it.
yeah, it sucks.
He's got to earn it.
No, it's us Texas guys are like not in the cool club. We don't get hyped.
Yeah, we're not the Gundo boy.
We're not the Gundo. I also indexed Gundo. I did a lot of.
You did some indexing on Gundo?
Yeah, I did some heavy.
I feel like startup indexing isn't a good investment strategy.
No, I didn't say I'm good investor.
First of all, indexing small micro cap tech startups is. Yeah, I think we're onto something here.
It's a great way to lose a lot of money, like very fast. Like, so I did.
Dude, I did like $1 million in angel investing as soon as I sold my company, and I torched it all. Like literally, my wife is like, well, "What are you doing with our money?" And I was like, "Well, I'm trying to buy friends." Obviously,
it's the only way.
Indexing on startups. No, startups are terrible investments.
Well, okay, I did some AI stuff in Gundo, and it just all got smoked. Like, and it was smoked so fast.
Also, I like that you say Gundo. We got to call it Gundo.
Gundo, yeah.
It's the Gundo.
The Gundo.
No, okay, so wait, Firehawk just new round. The new round. Did you participate, or are you just letting your stock fly?
I've read about it, but Will's so busy. I mean, Will actually is getting the credit that he deserves. Of course, 1789, which is
Trump's there now. Donald Trump Jr.
Jr.'s there. Chris Buzzkirk and Omid Malnik.
Shout out to Buzzkirk.
Yeah, Chris is amazing.
So they led around like 30, 60 million. I don't even know.
60.
Yeah, 60.
But none of them will take my calls anymore.
Well, it's too cool now.
I know.
So this business is probably going to fly now.
Yeah, it's flying.
So I think growth investors listening to this podcast should probably preempt.
Oh, they should. I mean,
you got to preempt. If you don't preempt tomorrow, you're going to miss out.
I'm often called for diligence.
Yeah.
And the opportunity for solid rocket engines is so big. So like, I remember, so my co-founder worked at Orbital ATK before it was purchased by Northrop Grumman. They had Northrop Grumman and Orbital ATK were bidding a single contract for the ICBM for $100 billion. Northrop bought Orbital ATK for like $9 billion.
I just looked this the other day.
Yeah. Just so that no matter what, Northrop would win the contract. Northrop has, this is public, overran that budget by $30 billion. And the government great businessman. And the government was like, no one else can do this. We have to give them the money. And it's like, actually, guys, they literally cannot do it. They overran their budget by $30 billion.
Listen, if you don't underbid it, you can't overrun it.
Exactly. So they did.
That's a motto at the Prime.
It's cost plus. They made so much money. But anyway, so if you look,
someone's going to clip that soundbite from me and use that against me.
I know you're fucked. Their Boeing is going to kill you.
If you don't underbid it, you can't overrun it.
Well, I love it. That's a great clip.
Yeah.
But they're going to do. So it's like that.
Yeah, so Firehawk,
so much money.
So you have to basically preempt now, or you're going to miss out. Basically, is what you're saying. Then.
So if the opportunity is at minimum $130 billion, like And I don't want to say their valuation. I don't think it's public, but it's like much lower. So, how much revenue did like an OpenAI do?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think they do like
4 or 5 billion.
I think they do like 1.8 billion.
Yeah. So like that 1.8 billion in aerospace and defense essentially is zero. Like it is
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
Like it's nowhere close to the budget. The budget's $1 trillion.
Yeah, I mean, so like, yeah, Firehawk could end with an easy $12 billion acquisition, like an orbital ATK someday. Actually, there's a good
adjusted for inflation. It probably 25.
More, yeah, more.
50 billion.
Yeah, 50 billion. Yeah, I'm not pumping hard enough, obviously. So actually, this actually brings me a good point on defense acquisitions. I saw some tweet by the corp dev guy, head of Anduril's corp dev, Adam Porter Price, who was saying that the acquisitions would be like smaller, only for bootstrap companies. And I didn't reply, but I wanted to. I'd be like, actually, I asked ChatGPT last 30 defense acquisitions that were over $1 billion. And like in the last 15 years, there was 30 over $1 billion. Like, I think that his thesis is probably wrong. I think that the acquisitions are going to get bigger and they're going to be large and they're going to be in the tens of billions of dollars.
Well, okay. So look at what happened with the primes, right? You have these big prime contractors, and how do you grow from 100 billion to 110 billion? You really can only acquire companies.
Yeah, you have to.
So they acquired throughout the last decade all the mid-sized companies.
Yeah, there's a lot more orbital ATKs. And they bought them all.
They bought them all. And now they're going to have to go lower in market to get bigger and bigger and bigger, because also all the opportunities in companies like yours, or a company like Firehawk or Aeon, like that opportunity.
We'll pump Aeon soon.
We're going to pump Aeon.
Obviously, we'll get there. Yeah.
But those opportunities, all the real money is made after $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
That's where all the growth happens.
Yeah.
Like it's because the hard part is going from $1 to $1 billion. That sucks. It's not fun.
That's the hardest part.
But then going from $1 billion to $2 billion or $5 billion is much easier, like on a percentage,
on a dollar by dollar basis.
On a dollar
really.
percentage relative to the current existing price.
Adding $1 over $1 billion is easier than adding $1 at zero.
Yeah, all the opportunities later.
I got the Chico state math here.
Bingo. More money, better.
More money, better.
I think that's why Umbra is successful.
No, I think that's good. I mean, Austin's building a nice coalition of smaller startups right now. I would say on the smaller end, got like Aeon and ACS, and then we got Firehawk, a little bit of our bigger brother.
But you guys aren't that small.
I mean, small-ish. We hype it up, but
I want like a guy who's, I don't know. I want like early.
Yeah, early. Yeah, because we just raised I haven't announced it yet, but yeah, we just raised a lot of money.
I know.
But we'll announce. I got to announce it on the Technology Brothers podcast. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, you're not.
The internet.
This is a new podcast. It's two tech bros. One guy's at Founders Fund, and the other guy, Jordy. You know Jordy? He's like this Jordy Hayes.
Wait, who is it at Founders?
It's Coogan. John
is that
Coogan.
the Lucy dude?
I think it's like an EIR, or I don't know. He's like a part. I don't know.
It's who has the Lucy company?
I think he's part of it. I'm sure they're doing
all
that.
Part of that.
Yeah, they're all. Everyone's doing nicotine. I think. What's that 1789 guy? We just talked about him. Losing his name.
Buzzkirk. But
Buzzkirk's got a nicotine thing too. Everyone's got
Tucker Carlson's.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Everyone's got a nicotine play right now.
Yeah, it's a good one. I tried it. It was pretty good.
It's a very addicting substance.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible, and I'm trying to like not do it, but it's terrible. Do you do nicotine?
No, smoking. It's the ROI is so bad.
But in the Gundo, they're hitting it hard.
Yeah, they're jacked.
But
they're young. They're young men. Like I remember.
That's true. As you get older, it really affects you.
It does. Yeah, I can't do it. But like, I remember Augustus Rainmaker, like. Whatever. You see him on Twitter. He's very funny.
Yeah, I mean, I have some great Augustus stories.
But in his deck, he put his fucking deadlift in his deck, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know about Cloud State. I don't understand it, but I'm like, if I'm just indexing somebody who is willing to put their deadlift in their deck, it's probably a good move.
So you're in on that one?
I mean, that guy.
Okay, nice. I mean, you have a great index going. I really want to track. We gotta like post this online and track the Gabe index.
Yeah, we'll see. How can you lose money as fast as
the one I got you is going to be a great business. So you should have put in more. Posh.
I like Posh.
Posh is flying. Have I sent you the investor updates?
No.
Oh, I got to send you those.
Okay.
I mean, I think they actually are smashing.
We'll see. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's not Partyful. Well, oh, I mean, Partyful, might be a little bit like
Yeah.
more attraction, but I think Posh has more of revenue. B2B. They do a lot of like B2B like
Yeah.
stuff.
But I mean, you're on the cap table. I'm not on the cap table, but
Yeah, but I've got you. I'll send you the updates. All right, so back to Austin. So, kind of like a counterculture gundo here. We got Aeon. You're an investor in Aeon too?
it's like, well, oh, Naveed's gonna. I would have been first check. So like,
I would have been first
so
check.
okay, Naveed, who's the founder of Aeon, worked at Umbra for many years.
Yeah.
So we have this like philosophy at Umbra that we want people to be the best version of themselves, kind of self-actualize.
Yeah.
And after 2-ish years, he's like, it has been great working for you, but you're psycho. And I don't know what the upper momentum is. Like, I want to start a company. And I was like, please don't start a company. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Like, you're seeing,
It's not fun.
he came right before the launch of the first satellite. So he didn't see the nightmare that it was to build it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's like, yeah, you're seeing a lot of like fun Gabe stuff, but not like the difficulty it took. And he was like, no, I want to do it. I want to do it. And then, so he resigned, and I was like, I don't care what you do, but I'll invest in it just because I believe in you. And
he had a bunch of startup ideas.
Yeah,
I had the list.
Whole bunch.
Yeah,
a whole bunch. And I was like, I'll invest in you and do it, but I don't want to be your first check. I want you to demonstrate that you can raise money. He came up with the idea for Aeon. He completely raised all the money in a week. And then at the end, it was like, I'm supposed to give you money. And then he carved me down.
That is savage. See, he taught you a lesson.
Like he learned so much from me.
I mean, what a savage. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And now they're getting ready for their product demo. We're excited. You're going to be there.
I am.
I'm going to be
He's
there
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
Yeah.
And,
I'm bringing a buddy. He's great.
Yeah.
It's family office.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Oil family office. What type?
They rhyme with the Schmalden family.
Okay. I spent a lot of this year part of fundraising for my company doing family office work.
Yeah.
Like LP management. I feel like I don't know if this is a trend right now, but a lot of the money's like in the LP base. And a lot of them just want to go direct to like the companies.
Yeah, but that's always been the case though.
And they don't want to send it through the VCs to the companies as much. Like,
well, if you see the returns, I don't know.
I checked the return. The VC, yeah.
I'm an LP in some funds. I think that I can say this. So like Nimble Partners, which is John Burbank's fund of funds, which invests in VCs, their returns are very good. Like they're very, very good. But like a lot of the funds that I've seen are not.
You're saying like, so fund of funds are a pretty good place to be?
Yeah, I think doing a fund of fund where you have experts investing in funds, right?
Yeah. Like
VC funds, where they're going to go to your smaller funds that are like maybe under $50 million. Because if you're a fund manager with $50 million, your fees aren't that great. So you actually have to make good investments.
Yeah.
But if your fund is like $10 billion, who gives like you 2 and 20? See you later. Bye. I'm skiing.
Yeah.
And that's all they do.
That's great. No, I remember right when I sold my last company, I was getting hit up by bankers to like manage the wealth. And they were like, and we have access to Tiger Global's fund and you can direct invest. And I was like, whoa, they just invested in all my competitors that are going to zero for the last like 5 years. I do not put my money there.
Yeah.
That was like their pitch. They're like, if you get in with us at JP Morgan, we got access to Tiger, VC arm.
It was so bad.
And like, they were just throwing at that. That was a crazy time. Like I don't even remember like fundraising during that time, but 2020 to 2022, the funding environment was like around COVID.
I hit it right before.
Dude, right before I was raising in 2019, I was having trouble. And then after COVID, it was wild and the market went insane. And people were sending like $80-90 million to like restaurant tech competitors of mine that had like no customers. Like
so bad.
it was just like a crazy. People were just like, we have to get money out there.
We missed the hype cycle probably by 3 months. So it was like we had a satellite, we had 2 satellites, a launch, and no money. And so I was watching the Dow just like drop 1,000 points one day, 2,000 the next day, blah blah. And I was like, we need to raise money. We need to raise money. And so we went out to market, and I think
it's like the 2019 crash.
This is 2019, and I think probably summer. It was before it went like this.
Yeah.
And so,
to the moon.
but actually wound up being really good because we had to be super diligent. So I think we only raised like $20 million.
But it made you like financially, fiscally responsible.
So during the entire ZERP hype era, we had no money. And everybody else had all their money, and they were just like spreading like, oh, we'll launch 50 sats, we'll do this. And we're like, we have enough money for like 6. We have the 2 that we already invested in. We have 4 more. Like, we're gonna break satellites, like, and it was slow and steady. So we didn't grow headcount meaningfully. We didn't do any of the things that you watched every single other company.
But you had the foundation laid there, and then later.
But I don't know, if we had raised like $200 million, I would not be sitting here.
It would be. You think the business would be in a much worse shape?
Business would have failed.
Why? Because couldn't you just? You don't have to return the money to the investors. Like,
well, I think that you're like,
you might have just overspent and.
No, you use money to fix problems, not technology. I'm an inventor now.
Yeah, you're an inventor.
But so it's like, if you are like, one of our competitors probably raised $100 million before we were able to raise 12. So they solved all of their problems using capital. So like,
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Bought their antenna, they bought a radar, they bought all these things, and then they just kind of glued them all together. But their unit cost was extremely high.
Yeah.
And so now, because we didn't do that, we didn't have any money, we had to build all the things ourselves. And it was like ramshackle. It was like, if you wanted to buy a radar that does 1200 megahertz from Northrop Grumman, you're $8 million, $10 million. Like, our unit cost was $2,500. In 2000, it was a clock. So that's what you're competing with. So if your cost basis is so low, you can, when you get to space, have, I don't want to say price control, but you can charge less and make the market kind of come to you.
Exactly. That makes sense. So you're saying sometimes a founder can over raise and then they solve their problems in the wrong way.
Yeah, without technology, you have to be a zealot about building technology and having sustainable technology, and then having really good unit costs.
Yeah. Well, in the long run, those things matter. In the short term,
you party. You have a great party. You can throw a lot of great parties with investment money.
All right. So to wrap up on Aeon, because I know Naveed will say you didn't hype it enough. So what do you think's the outlook this year? I mean, he's got a lot of good stuff going on. I feel like the demo's coming. They've been putting together a great team. What's the outlook from the investor standpoint?
I was like, fuck. Avionics guy's really good.
Yeah, he keeps hiring teammates that are, that I wanted to hire. And I'm bro, he's just out there just running circles around me, young kid.
I think that the opportunity for Aeon's really neat in the sense that, so what they do is they build a missile.
Yep.
And they're building, I think, a competitor to the Javelin now. They have other
plans. Well, I think it just has general use cases around because it has guidance. So you can, it flies around.
Yeah, use it for a bunch of stuff, right? So the whole point is, if we get into a war, and they did all these games with what would happen if you get into a war with China over Taiwan? We run out of ordnance in 2 weeks. Like, there are 2 places where you can buy explosives, like for a missile. If that is not widely proliferated, and if the industrial base doesn't have 50 vendors that do this, if we actually have to get into a real war, which we haven't been in for a very long time, it would be quite bad.
Yeah.
So I think there's a big opportunity there.
Huge opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of competition and having vendors to do all this stuff, you saw the new defense secretary nomination on Twitter. You saw that going on yesterday?
It was because you texted me that I need to cover Vanderpump. I had to read a lot of Vanderpump rules.
We're going to talk Vanderpump at the end, obviously.
But I watched some clips of Pete.
He looks like he did pretty good. It's pretty awesome.
He's so physically fit.
Yeah, I know. He's like my body double.
Yeah,
it's so jacked as shit.
He's so jacked.
Yeah.
I think he did really well.
I like when he said he had to do 5 sets of 47 push-ups this morning. Did you see that one? That was my favorite one.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's what I did. Every morning you have to do 5 sets of 47 if you want to get awarded a contract in Pete's new admin.
I love that.
Yeah, you better pump up.
Yeah, you got to put in your fucking deadlift.
Yeah.
in your deck.
In your deck. Yeah, this is actually going to be huge for Augustus.
Yeah. I think he did really well. All those Senate hearings are so funny. But I mean, they asked him great questions like how many rounds go into a magazine.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Vision. Like, I love that kind of stuff. It's like, it shows that he actually knows what the warfighter needs, which I think is
and what they do.
Yeah.
And so, I liked his answer about he's going to introduce more competition. He's going to
Well, that's the
look
answer.
toward the technology partners, like look towards startups, look towards, investor community, kind of
Mhm.
think about things like a little differently, I hope.
Well, I say it all the time. The free market solves all problems. So right now you have cost plus contracts, which were implemented during the 50s during total war with Japan and Nazi Germany, where it was like, hey, Chrysler, we need a bunch of like tanks. And they're like, we make money, we're good. And they're like, no, we're going to guarantee that you make a profit. So you do this. And so they have an assembly line. They're like, okay, we have guaranteed money. Thank you. And they just never stopped. And because they never stopped, you were guaranteeing profit to like what has now become 5 companies.
Yeah.
And all the competition where it's like, oh, wait, I actually have to do something firm fixed price where I have to compete against somebody else to give the best value and the best product.
Yeah.
Like that's not happening. Once that happens, you're going to unleash American ingenuity. We'll have 10 moon landings.
Dude, I mean, I know, I'm like, we're the crazy ones doing firm fixed price on our product now, like, I want to do cost. I was like telling the team, I was like, let's cost plus this shit. I was like, we can print.
But the thing is, they'll never do it
I know.
because the primes already have all of it. I mean, the amount of money they've spent on AI to shoot down a drone is
Insane.
Insane.
And they've missed every time.
And it's so bad.
It's like the orbital ATK thing all over again.
Well, it's white collar welfare.
Yeah.
Like it
really is.
It really is.
I told that to so I love my dad. I told him my dad was at Northrop Grumman for 33 years, just retired, full Northrop Grumman career guy.
Nice.
And I was
Respect.
but yeah, so I was like, Dad, come on. I mean, obviously white collar welfare. Like, no, you did a good job. You did a good job. I'm actually going to bring him back to do foreign military sales. He used to, he sold radars to Egypt. He's one of like the sales guys at Northrop that did that. I was like, Dad, you got to dust off those Egypt connections. We're selling gun turrets now. Let's go.
So the argument is that it's not that the primes do anything bad. They're able to do it. Like they can look, Lockheed Martin landed.
Yeah, no, it's just the structure of these deals.
The cost is just so high and the incentives are so perverse that it doesn't make.
If I were to be like, hey, Gabe, how much is that jacket? I want to pay you for what it cost you to make it plus 20%.
Yeah.
Like imagine we did everything like that. If you walked into an Aloe store like Gap and you're like, I need to pay you what it cost for you to make that plus 10%.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, imagine having a market where you could buy a similar looking jacket for $20 and not.
Speaking of startup ideas, now this just reminded me of a startup idea I had the other day. It's called cyberexchange.com. Okay. It allows cyber mills, because all these cyber mills, they win all these cybers.
Yeah.
It allows them to post their win, and it creates a bid-ask marketplace for companies that want to buy that work.
Oh,
so you could be like, if you want like a $3 million cyber as a mill, you could be like, I'll sell it for $2.1 million right now, and then it does all the paperwork behind the scenes to make you a subcontractor with the cyber mill, and then gives you the work, and then you do all the work, and you get the cyber, and you can tell investors like you have cybers.
Oh wow!
Cyber exchange, and it actually creates a nice liquidity market because it gets the cybers into the right hands of the right people.
Yeah.
Better,
and it makes it more competitive.
And then obviously as the marketplace, we get a cut.
Obviously, we gotta get a big
to operate the site. Dude, that's actually a good idea.
We have a mutual friend actually who we met. Who might be really interested in that.
Yeah, we should set up an entrepreneur. We should invest, set up an entrepreneur with this idea, let him run it. We'll incubate.
Yeah, I like that.
We started in Austin. Yeah, Cyber Exchange, and it sounds like a real company.
It does.
It does, like the Cyber Exchange.
I like that.
And it provides, because I think there's a good amount of inefficiency in that market, like the cyber market.
Yeah.
And I think this would kind of provide liquidity in that market.
We were talking about the Valley of Death earlier. Like, I think the Valley of Death is a good thing, which is like kind of a hot take. People don't like that.
No, it's a hot take.
Because the government can't get scammed, right? So if you have companies like, oh, I can do whatever, just make something up. You can't give them 10.
But let me challenge you on that.
Okay.
See, I think they should be able to be okay getting scammed for $5 million. But right now they're getting scammed for $2.8 billion. They get scammed on the high end.
Oh yeah.
They should be getting scammed more on the low end.
Okay.
That's no, but I actually do agree that the Valley of Death is good for other reasons. Like I'm actually with you. So like I like it as, a moat. So like other, investors are like,
huge moat.
Steve, what are they going to do when these other autonomous AI gun companies come? And I'm like, whoa, take a step back. I put $40 million into this. I'm sitting in the Valley. How many other companies are going to sit in the Valley with me for $40 million?
They have to be able to raise the money.
Like it's actually an incredible moat.
It's so deep.
It's so deep.
Because I'm asked the same thing. It's like, well, why doesn't somebody else realize how to take black and white pictures from space? And like, Good luck. Like,
Well,
I wouldn't
no,
wish on
it's
my
the
worst
capex.
enemy.
It's the capex. It's the investment up front. Not a lot of people want to do that.
Well,
Like, even if they said this business is flying, the margins are fat, let's go after it. It's
Mhm.
still like $100 million in 4 years to even start. You know,
more.
more.
Yeah, more.
So like, and maybe that gets cheaper over time, but like,
But
it's
and
still,
then they have to compare with my like they have to fight against my economics depreciated assets in orbit. So it's like my marginal cost on taking a picture is zero now.
Yeah.
Because the satellites already paid for
Yeah.
themselves. So, and I'm going to just launch more satellites. So over the next 4 years, if we
Also, you don't want to compete with
quadruple
someone
it-
from Chico State, bro.
No,
I
it's
would
scary.
be terrified. of
It's very
that.
scary.
Yeah.
It's because I'm not rational.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not competing with you, dude.
Yeah.
I told Luke, because like our last company, we had 60 competitors and it was very difficult.
fuck.
Everyone did online ordering. That's so easy. Like, so we had to like do it. That was hard. And I was like, Luke, when we start this new company, I was like, whatever you pick for the product, we got to make sure we have no competitors. Like, I can't do this again. I was like, the fact that I have to get on a sales call and differentiate between the 20 other companies, it was killing me.
Oh, it's so hard.
Dude, it's so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I was trying to tell investors. I was like, if you know what I went through with 60 competitors to be able to make this company real, I was like, you would appreciate me more.
Totally.
I was like, this was horrible.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, starting companies is really hard.
I mean, more power to everyone's doing it, I guess, but it really is
Yeah.
very difficult.
I think we'll see. I think there's a lot of entrepreneurship where people are like, oh, this is cool. I want to be a founder. Like, there's a lot of prestige in it. I'm like, when we started Umbra, there's probably 100 people doing satellite nonsense.
Yeah.
Maybe there's 20 left. Out of those 20, 15 SPAC'd and all got smoked. And then there's maybe 5 that are private, and we're the only one with positive EBITDA. Like, that's
I'm saying, yeah, most companies,
yeah, the probability is just so low.
yeah, most companies fail. And it's just hard. You can be really smart, great founder, great idea, great product. You can have everything line up and it still could mess up.
Well, it's the whole thing is like, it's how you play the game. That's why when I said if we had raised $100 million in COVID, we would have lost, because you see the money becomes a drug that treats you where you're playing a game for your investors to win. And winning is headcount, like whatever.
Momentum,
Twitter
posts.
Twitter posts,
PR.
bullshit. And like, we lost every single metric. We raised the least amount of money. We had the fewest people. We had the fewest satellites. We had the fewest everything. But what I realized over time is the objective wasn't to win this arbitrary game, which doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The objective is to have an ability to continue to play the game.
Yeah.
Which is
stay alive.
Make money.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting and talking to investors about making money, and they're like, but it's like whatever the TV show Silicon Valley is like, if you are post revenue, like I can't mark this up. And I was like, you can if we make more money. Like, that's always the answer. Just make as much money as
If you're
possible.
post revenue.
Yeah. So
we had our first revenue come in 2 days ago, and I got really sad.
Yeah, I'm
about
so
it.
sorry.
I was like, no, guys, everything's changed now. I was like, we were supposed to be pre-revenue in a pure
pre-revenue.
play. All right, well, this is a drone podcast, so we got to do some drone talk.
God.
All right, let's talk the DJI. You see the DJI No Fly Zone news?
No, tell me about
So
it.
I'll give it to you. There's some conspiracy theories going on. So, DJI drones, they have the ability, like when you fly them, because you can they're commercial drones.
Okay.
And like if you fly them into a no-fly zone, the software will shut them down. They're like geofence, they protect.
Ooh, cool.
So like if I tried to buy a DJI drone from Walmart and then go fly it around the White House, it would stop me on the UI and be like, you can't fly there.
Yeah.
And so it's like protection's built into the product.
Sure.
Which makes sense. They recently removed all those.
Ooh,
That's the big news.
why?
They want to put the onus back on the consumer to not break the law, and they want to stop being the police, like having to police on behalf of the U.S. government. Some Spidey sense though, there are some people saying like this is suspicious doing this ahead of inauguration, getting rid of this software.
But there's just jam it.
Yeah, I mean maybe if you fly them low enough, you're not jamming shit.
You could jam if you have enough energy directed.
Yeah, but like when you're flying them like close to you have to point it at it. Jamming's tough because you got to like get the energy in the area.
Well, depends on your jammer.
Yeah, I mean if you just have a full radial.
If you have a bozo jammer, yeah, but if you have a military jammer, you can fucking commercial jammer.
I mean, I think that overall, yeah, like the military jammers do crush because they're on this. They know the gigahertz, like then it's like 2.4. They can jam that channel.
Yeah. It's also
so they're gonna just be dousing the inauguration event with radiation.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
I do it from space.
Yeah. I mean, you're just dousing Earth with radiation.
Yeah.
So that's the one drone news. What do you think about like getting a DJI type company in America eventually? I feel like it's just so hard.
Well, actually, I was talking to a guy in Austin who's like retired rich dude. And he's like, I'm buying a bunch of manufacturing companies that are like profitable and small, and I'm just aggregating them all to Texas. And we build like, so the propeller for drones, not one is made in the United States, not one.
Okay.
So if we get into a shooting war with China or something, there's no more drones. So it's like, okay, what if I have a functioning business that can scale exponentially? So I have functioning businesses in like a big warehouse, and it's like, oh, everybody needs propellers. I have 1,000 CNC machines, and I'll just go and build propellers.
So you're talking about making subcomponents.
Yeah,
for
so he
drones.
makes a bunch of subcomponents.
This is like a business idea we're hatching.
No, this guy's doing it.
He's doing it.
He's way richer than us.
He's doing it.
Yeah. He's already doing it. He's buying great companies. He's building huge warehouses. So if there is ever a need to onshore everything, he did this before Trump.
Awesome.
So if there's a need to onshore or like big tariffs or something,
Yeah.
you
He'll
can
be
just
right
like,
there.
Yeah, you need a widget. I've got your widget factory, and I'll push it out, and it'll cost.
So maybe it makes it easier for our U.S. drone maker companies to scale up more. The problem is we don't have a consumer company, so we can't get consumer margin. Like
Yeah.
we can't let the free market's not helping us here.
But that kind of, I mean, the drone business is probably tiny margins.
Well, I don't know. I mean, DJI is probably a roaring business, don't you think?
I don't know.
They're N of one, like they don't really have competition in the consumer drone market. It's kind of like, I think they just,
I feel like there's a lot of little commercial drones.
I think they're just really bad. If you go
they
to,
suck.
like
I
go to
mean,
Walmart and like it's
yeah.
all DJI in there.
Mm.
Yeah, I know it's tough. I think that Tesla's or hot takes of Druva, deterrence. Druva, do you know that guy? We have to pump his company too, but
Okay,
basically they're
pump him.
doing an automated factory line for making primers.
Okay, primers for weapons.
Bullets. And
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like a primer
Really?
factory.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
you don't know about that one? You got to get in on this one. You should be in. This should be in your index.
I love that.
Shout out to Druva Pump.
Wait, but does he make just the primer? I want a TNT company.
Well, they're starting with primers, but they have a roadmap to do more. They're starting very
I'm
focused.
sold. I'm in.
Yeah.
What does he deadlift?
Oh yeah, he's got a big deadlift.
He's
This
very
guy's
strong.
jacked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He founded a company called Latch, which IPO'd.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the smart locks for Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Like that was his original.
I'm in.
He's a good founder.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
nice.
right.
You're in.
Yeah.
You heard it on the podcast. Druva, send term sheet.
Yeah.
Send a note. Yeah, they're backed by like the Riot VC guys. Those guys.
Yeah, Will. I like
Yeah,
Will.
Will.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Will and Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Will.
Are they on your? Did they invest in you guys?
No, we were too. When we talked to them, they were like a seed to A fund.
Okay, yeah.
When we did.
They're doing more like later stage growth.
Yeah, now they're doing SPVs in much larger companies.
Yeah. I think they're like on the board of Shield AI.
I'm sure.
Do you work with Shield? Do you give them satellite data?
I don't know, but our API is pretty.
Yeah, you
Like,
basically make it easy, like to
Yeah.
just work with you guys. That's rare in the industry, by the way.
No, we're the only ones who do it.
I know. I was like, that's rare.
But it's like, but we're the only ones who do it because we have an abundance of supply.
Yeah.
So what we invented is an ability to take more pictures over high demand areas. So our supply of data is much higher. So if you're flying over North Korea and you can only take 2 pictures per satellite or 3 or something
Yeah.
like that, your behavior is going to be very different than if you take 30. And so because we take so many pictures, we don't care. It's like,
Yeah.
if you take 2 pictures, it's like, I need $10,000 for each picture. And I'm like, man, take 30. I mean, $1,000 each.
Do you see a lot of your data being used by like OSINT news stations that are like trying to do like OSINT analysis?
I see it a lot.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I see it a lot.
They call themselves OSINT gremlins.
I love it.
Gremlins.
Because what they do, all they have to do is you can fill out a form
Yeah.
on our web or on our Twitter,
Yeah.
and we'll send you a picture for free.
That's great.
Because it's, like a 15 centimeter image is probably costs $25,000. It's very expensive.
Wow.
But like, the satellites don't get tired. I'll send it to you. Just text me.
That's amazing. I mean, that's awesome. What's like the roadmap plan? I mean, you've already dominated the fucking skies.
So the roadmap plan was actually really interesting. What we realized is that we looked at the TAM of taking black and white pictures or just remote sensing from space, and it's like single-digit billions, and that's not very interesting. We looked at the next market, which is components, which is solar panels, reaction wheels, torque rods, all these things that we were forced to invent for ourselves because we couldn't afford it
Yeah.
with vendors. So we know how to do it. We do it well. We have it demonstrated in space. It's like, okay, well, why don't we just sell a widget for one of these mega constellations and we'll charge less and it'll be a better product. And then we looked at the next, and that's like maybe tens of billions.
Okay.
And then the next market over is actually building constellations for allied governments or our own government. So let's say our own government goes, hey, we need 50 satellites that do X. We say, okay, we have a huge production facility. We'll just put more satellites on the line and produce them for
But the
you.
satellites aren't just doing pictures, maybe.
They could do anything.
Okay, so you might get into more of like doing satellite
We're doing it
manufacturing.
now.
Yeah,
We
okay.
want it, like we recently won a contract for a space laser, which I was like, oh, I don't want to build a fucking space laser.
Oh,
It's
dude,
suck.
space laser,
I know.
hit it. Is it gonna like? Is it like a Death Star type thing? You're
It's
gonna
pretty
shoot back at us?
It's pretty cool.
Come hit Earth?
It's public. It
Yeah,
hits
of
Earth.
course. Yeah. So like, yeah, that's cool.
It's cool.
So you're like getting into weapons.
No, I don't. So this laser is for communications.
Oh, yeah.
We would never do a space laser that hurts.
Yeah. Okay. So comms. No. Okay. Comms link space laser.
Yes, a
Got it.
comms link space.
Yeah.
laser.
Yeah.
Which I was like, dude, it's so lame.
It's
And
funny that you say you looked at these different opportunities by the TAM. That's like I never look at TAM. Like I'm not a
hold on.
TAM guy.
Okay, wait, hold on. To build satellites for the government, the TAM is like hundreds of billions. Of
Yeah,
dollars
that's
per
amazing.
year. So it's like, okay, if I have to go and fight the clown show that is taking commercial remote sensing, and I have to like essentially get the entire market, like it's going to be so much work.
Yeah.
Or I could just build like 100.
Yeah. I
satellites.
mean, yeah, you're right. No, I think the analysis is sweet. I mean,
Yeah, we just build 100 satellites. It's so because we have the know-how. We
okay.
do.
So like,
Yeah.
when is the IPO then, or the SPAC?
I don't. Well, we're certainly not going to SPAC. Certainly not going to IPO anytime soon. I think that
You have to IPO before Stripe. You're like Stripe for images, satellite images.
I mean, well, my valuation's not quite as high.
Yeah.
I think that we probably would not IPO until we are until people understand what the fuck we do.
Yeah.
And just people don't.
It's so easy.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I get
we
it.
measure the radar wave and blah blah blah. Like, I mean, it's so hard. Like, so I think once the company becomes big enough where it's like, oh, they do a bunch of stuff, it's high margin, it's aerospace and defense. But right now we're like the picture guys. We can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You watched any TV shows lately?
Okay, it's just the transition.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I was rewatching Lost recently. I don't even know why.
I tried to do Squid Game. The second.
I feel like I don't want to do Squid Game season 2 or whatever. I feel like it's not going to be good. Like the first one was so good because it was unique,
Yeah, it's super.
and it's like I get it. You know,
I tried. I'm on one episode in Squid Game.
by trying you invalidate it.
Oh, I'm watching the Jerry Springer thing.
Oh, what is that?
Oh, okay. So there's a Netflix documentary on the Jerry Springer show, and it's very interesting.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yes.
I watched that Don't Die documentary, the Brian Johnson.
Oh,
on
wow, how was
Netflix.
that?
Have you seen that?
No, I met Brian.
Okay,
He's very beautiful.
is he?
So like
He's got an odd
whenever
look.
he's on the fucking internet, he's like got all this like he's very shiny.
Yeah,
And like he has this whole look. But if you see him in person, he's like very like he looks young.
yeah.
Like he really does look young.
Yeah.
I mean how old is he? 50?
I don't know. He was the Braintree founder, which is the Stripe competitor. That's his story. Remember Braintree?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
like
guess.
Stripe.
But yeah, that's more your
Yeah.
market.
Okay.
I'm not
And then he like used the money he made from that to now do Don't Die and then to sell us all supplements.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like as soon as I started talking about Don't Die, I started vaping. I was like, yeah, fucking Don't Die.
But it's like this things that he's doing is like could you get 90% of the way there with calorie restriction and lotion? Like probably. I also like we have a good rustic look.
Yeah.
Like I look like a
Yeah.
man. I don't want to look
salt
good.
of the earth. You know, we've been working hard. Okay, we have like the crows.
Yeah, I got the crow's feet.
No, we do because we're both Italians.
Yeah.
we're really cut from the same cloth.
I was like, if I do this, is it racist?
Yeah,
And
I'm
they're
on
like, you're Italian.
I'm on the Gabe. I'm on the Gabe arc. I like to say where like I'm about 10 years behind you. Because you started 10 years earlier than me.
Yeah.
That's my excuse.
Yeah,
I was stuck in the Navy, and then
maybe.
some odd jobs here and there.
Yeah, but Navy's pretty good. Being submarines.
Man, did I ever tell you I was speaking of Silicon Valley stuff? I was at a like just doing this startup stuff. I was a product manager at a company, like one of my odd jobs in between doing startups where we had raised $80 million. I won't say the company name, but and we didn't have a product. Like actually, and this was pre-generative AI, pre all these LLM stuff. This was like 2016 when everyone was
That's
doing
a lot of money.
it used
for
to be called
2016.
predictive analytics is what it used to be called before so
Yeah.
you'd like you use AI to predict who your next best customer should be. So basically you'd give us like a list of your customers and we'd be like, okay, you should sell to these other customers now. It's predictive data for marketers. Anyways, we raised like so much money, and I was a PM there. I was like a young PM, and my CEO comes over to me and he's like, hey Steve, I got all the money now, can you like do a product? And I was like, I'm terrified. What do you mean? Like do a product? I was like, you're the visionary, bro.
Yeah, you're gonna make me fucking go.
Dude, we were on a sales call. I was literally shit you now. We were on a sales call selling to these like marketers because we were selling data to marketers. Basically, it was
Yeah.
the company, and they were like, okay, so like, how do I log in and like do anything? No, and I was like, whoa, no, we don't have that yet. And then like afterwards, the CEO comes over and he's like, so did they buy? And I was like, no. And they were like, he's like, well, did you share my vision deck? And I was like, they don't want the vision deck, dog. They want the actual product.
Oh,
Did you share my vision deck?
oh. It was so I'm
That's some
very
good shit.
I'm incredibly sympathetic to this because I had to sell data off a satellite that didn't exist that sounded totally ridiculous. Like
You were sharing them the vision.
I was sharing the vision. It was like we have a satellite. It sees through clouds. Like what do you mean? Like I have I have eyes. If I look up at the sky and there's clouds, I cannot see through them.
Yeah.
So then you have to explain this like weird technology, and then it's like, oh, and then it can see better than anything else ever. It's like, okay, that sounds like bullshit. And the antenna folds and blah blah blah, and we're building it in a garage with no money. It was like impossible.
See, founders can do the vision sale, but like asking a PM to do it is it's like, bro, come on.
That's pretty tough.
No, it's like going to one of your employees and be like, hey, just share the vision of where we're going. Like, it's not that hard. But like as a founder, that's like, you can do that. You can be in the room and be like, here's where we're headed. And like people will kind of, maybe they'll buy in, maybe not, but at least you have a chance.
No one bought it.
But like having a young PM do it is great.
Oh my God.
Steve, just take this vision deck.
It's so hard.
That's all you do. Okay, so but shows, I was rewatching Lost.
Yeah.
I was rewatching Dexter. And
Oh.
Dexter gets really bad in the later seasons. It's terrible writing toward the end.
Oh really?
Yeah, the original seasons are good.
So, oh yeah.
Doing some Real Housewives, obviously. I'm
Better
not up to speed on Vanderpump though. I know that's your show.
Vanderpump's good.
What's the latest?
Well, so I used to work with. So, do you do Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Yeah, of course.
So, like, I used to work with Erica Girardi's husband, Tom, and like before everyone knew how bad he was, and I was like, it wasn't great to me. But yeah, I mean that's all very sad. But okay, wait. So I want to first touch on 2 shows I rewatch every year:
Okay.
Frasier
Okay.
and The Shield. Do you remember The Shield?
I haven't seen The Shield.
Oh fuck, it's so good.
Is it good?
Oh my god, it's so good.
Okay. Frasier, I've seen like all the Frasiers.
Of course,
Yeah.
but like.
Old Italian guys, we see Frasier. We watch
Yeah, of
Frasier.
course, come on. We drink sherry. The first episode of The Shield, they find somebody who's a child molester, and the cop walks into the interrogation room and beats him nearly to death with a phone book. Like it's a really great tempo to start.
Okay.
It's just a great.
How many seasons is Shield? The Shield? A
Maybe
couple.
8.
So that's a lot of seasons.
Yeah, so it is like you can only do 2. It
Yeah.
takes a year.
Yeah.
Like it takes a long time.
You watch The Shield every year. It takes a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Well, Vanderpump's on like 10 seasons or something now. 12.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
And they have all these spin-offs.
It's a great name. We were talking out there. It's a great name. Like that's a great. I mean, I wish I could invest in a founder with the last name Vanderpump.
Well, okay, Lisa Vanderpump she has been able to money max everything she's doing between the restaurants and she has all these spin-off shows, and it's like a dating show and everything. It's incredible.
I watch stuff like this and I just think, man, I'm in the wrong biz, you know?
Well, I got a buddy who's like he used to do a reality show producing, and he's like, I hate myself. I hate myself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's like power law of anything. Like, there's obviously the Vanderpump exceptions, but mostly it's a terrible industry. And
Well,
stuff.
it's the money. So it's like you are essentially getting paid to sell your soul.
Yeah. How often do you live? Do you like live in LA sometimes, or Santa Barbara? How often
So
you're out there?
I was in Santa. I am very rarely in Santa Barbara, but
Okay.
like the business. So we have
Context for the listeners: they have an
Right.
office in Santa Barbara.
So we have an office in Santa Barbara, which is Santa Barbara has really a really interesting aerospace and defense history.
Yep.
Specifically, like the Lockheed brothers had their first like airplane shop on the main street called State Street. And then Jack Northrop went to my high school and interned for the Lockheed brothers and then started Northrop Grumman. Then Howard Hughes would come up to Santa Barbara to to vacation, whatever, and then started a huge Hughes facility. So when Hughes died, all that stuff and that like prime manufacturers broke up into a million little companies, which are now 5 companies. So if you want the best talent to build this kind of satellite, you have to be there. But our DC office really is probably going to be the biggest.
Yeah. Just because like you like it there. It's in Roslyn.
Yeah, it's so cold. But
so cold.
No, I like it. Well, obviously because of the proximity to the customers.
Yeah, that's why I like to be there.
Yeah,
And that's why I'm there.
yeah.
I don't know how other companies do it when they don't have a DC presence. It's weird. Like I just
Well,
feel
you
like
have to.
you
so,
have to.
So like we shifted after we had a product, and I wasn't like selling a vision deck.
Sell the vision.
Yeah,
Vision
not
deck.
selling a vision. When we actually had a product, we started spending like really meaningful money on program managers who go into the different departments, say like, this is what you're getting, and like this is what we could give you,
Yeah.
and this is the cost of it. And we obviously saw our revenue and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So DC office popping, Santa Barbara keep it kind of small probably.
Well, it's like 80-ish people.
How
in
many
Santa
here
Barbara.
in Austin?
I don't know.
But is it biggest here right now currently?
No,
No.
probably Santa Barbara, but will quickly be eclipsed by DC.
So you're really not an Austin company.
Whoa! Don't say that. My street cred.
That is a fraud.
We have tens of people here. I don't know.
Tens of people.
I don't go. So I don't go.
Where's the office here? It's like, is it
in
down?
the Indeed building?
Is it downtown here?
6th and it's in the Indeed.
It's like, yeah, okay. So it's pretty close by.
6th in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the since I'm moving to Austin, what are some of the Austin, hotspot food scene? What are good restaurants?
So
to hit?
I'm quite boring and very rarely cross the lake.
But you run a company, so you probably have some good recommendations.
Well, I get invited to like the same 5 nice restaurants.
Okay.
This is like if I cross the lake.
Throw me one. Just hit me one, sometime. You don't have to do it on the spot if you can't
Yeah,
get
that's
it.
pretty on the
Right on the spot.
I went to a fucking great ramen place.
Which one? Ramen Tatsuya?
South Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That place is so good.
It was really
I've eaten a lot of ramen in a lot of cities, and I
Yeah.
think it's like the best ramen I've ever had.
So
Which doesn't
I
make
went-
sense for Austin, but it's awesome.
Well, they call it something Japanese, but it's chicken nuggets. It was
Yeah.
delicious. And then I got ramen. I always order side. You gotta get side.
You got it, yeah.
So I
Yeah.
got a lot of sides. It's good.
Yeah. All right, so what's next? So next for Umbra is obviously building the satellites. What else is next?
Building and selling satellites.
Scaling up the DC office.
Well, you want to be, for lack of a better description, Anduril for space.
Yeah.
Like you want to just get bigger, and we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get bigger.
We have to get.
Is that just because like it's to insulate, it's to protect the business on the downside? Like you just have to be too big to fail type thing?
Well, it's how do you go from like a very high but earned valuation to 10 billion, 100 billion? Like,
But why do you have to
You
do that?
have
Why
to-
can't you just print cash, high margin? Like why do you have to grow? Is that just the nature? It's a state. It's just how it works.
No, I more money better.
Yeah. Obviously, do
That's
more.
just me.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
it's like
just in general, because you can grow more, do more.
we have
Check
investors.
the downside more.
Well, yeah, but we have investors. We have to provide, returns to investors.
Oh, we have to do that.
Yeah, it's a whole
Shit,
thing.
Okay.
But I mean, like,
Yeah.
David and I both love the business, right? Like we
Yeah.
went through this very difficult thing to like make the business work when literally nobody else could.
Yeah.
And We might as well maximize that.
No, that's the thing. Like once you go through the hard years, the first 5 years, which are always just so brutal, you may as well hold on to the asset at this point and let it grow.
Oh,
you know?
totally.
And just like go because you already went through all of this pain. You know?
Well, and the whole thing is like, how do you? If I realized that we couldn't, if we didn't have the team, we didn't have the technology, we didn't have anything where it couldn't grow, I would have SPAC'd. And I mean, like those bankers were calling us like, "Do you want like $500 million personally?" And I'm like, $500 million. And like I was looking at the Umbra bank account, and it was like probably under $1 million, and I was like, 500 million. But it was like
I could take that.
I could take that and just fuck off. But I realized
I'll be your sidekick in that era. Like,
but
you're
I
Italian
realized that it
little
was
boy.
like not real.
Yeah,
Because like obviously what happened, all that money, that 500 million, went to like 5 million or something.
Yeah,
and then I would have never. So it's always better to not grift, I think.
of course.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, in the long run, it all comes out. You can't. Like, it only works in the short term. Like, it just won't work.
Yeah.
So you have to like build a real business. But we could do like a nice ACS, Aeon, Firehawk, Umbra SPAC roll up. Like that Austin roll up SPAC. We got gun turrets, we got missiles, we got solid rocket fuel, and we got images.
I don't know. Man.
The satellites could coordinate the bullfrogs.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing is like what you want is what I honestly thought we were going to be talking about is like cross communication between satellites and drones, and then you know
thought that was what we're going to talk about on here.
Yeah, like,
have you not watched any of my episodes? It's called the Drone Ultimatum because I was going to get sued. I had to change my name from Drone Wars.
Oh,
because well, like Dan,
Alex Jones.
So like no, like, have you seen him? You know that company? It's like Firestorm Labs. It's like Dan Magee.
I've heard of them.
He apparently, you don't know the drama here?
No.
Okay. I like came up with Drone Wars as a name, which is a terrible. I mean, it's not a good name. It doesn't make it. It's whatever. And the names are all bad. Like Google was a bad name until Google. You know, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like Google. So, anyways, I had Drone Wars, and then like in August, I was like emailing all the customers and all of our like listeners the potential, and I was like, "We're launching Drone Wars."
Yeah.
And he's like on the mailing list, and he calls me. He's like, "Steve, we have a big problem here. I have Drone Wars," and I was like, "I filed trademarks for this," and I was like, "Who files trademarks for a podcast?
Who cares?
Industry podcast?"
Keep it.
Anyways, we had a beef, but we settled the beef.
Yeah.
We hugged it out. He came on the podcast to claim the name, and we hugged it out.
Yeah.
And he's got Drone Wars now.
Great. How many viewers? Who's winning?
Well, he has one episode launched.
Okay.
And this is like our 15th or so.
Yeah.
But he's a very good marketer, so he's going to do well. And I obviously spent a lot of time educating the market on Drone Wars, so he's now gets to piggyback on that.
That's good.
So he played it well. He
Yeah.
played it well.
He's playing chess.
Shout out to Dan. Love you, bro. I love
He's
you.
playing
Yeah,
chess.
he's playing chess, dude. I'm over here checkers, just trying to grind it out. Trying to share the government my vision deck for AI guns. Like, have you seen the vision? The gun will point and shoot on its own.
I'm very excited about your demo.
Yeah, it's really. Oh, you're gonna see it. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I've seen the gun and stuff, but
My friend is coming. My good friend Gokul is going to come down too. Do you know him?
but that sounds like a very
He's
cool.
like on the
name.
board of Coinbase. If you're a big, are you into crypto?
I mean, only so I said I'm against grifting generally, but
but not crypto.
but if it's diarrhea coin, I'm in. I'm all in.
Look, I'm not really into like crypto that much, but now obviously our main investor David Sachs is the AI and crypto czar. So now I feel like now that he's the cryptos, I should like at least get a little more educated on the whole space.
I think that you have crypto believers, and I know a lot of crypto believers like the ledger and the distributed blah blah blah, and then you have everybody who's making money. That's like,
I want to be in that camp.
Yeah, it's like I'm buying a triple levered ETF and just buying options on it when Elon tweets, and then they're just making millions of dollars. Like if I'm going to optimize, you have to. Okay, so I remember there was this woman, and the best kind of she's like I don't know, a coach. I was like, what is the best piece of advice you can give? And she's like, don't manage your time, manage your energy. So if I spend
This is your coach?
I don't have a coach.
Okay,
but this is
I have a
like
coach.
Okay, how strong is your coach?
My coach is just my unpaid. He's my friend.
Okay.
I've known him for like 15 years. He works at the patent office.
Oh,
and he's he has infinite time for me because he doesn't do any. He's like my coach therapist friend.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta have a coach, bro. I don't
need to
pay
get
him
a coach.
anything. I don't pay him. It's just like,
well, I mean, all these. So like, I get a lot of coach grifts.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I want to be your coach, blah blah blah. And
Well, they've never built a company before.
yeah, and they know about the
yeah,
company.
yeah.
I'm like, but you don't like, you have no idea how to assess my problems.
Yeah.
Like none. So I'm like big fan of like mentorship.
Yeah.
So like, I had lunch with my mentor. He's like this 80. How old's Dennis? His name's Dennis Marenbach. I'll give him a shout out.
Shout out.
He's like 81.
His coaching pipeline's about to be filled.
Yeah, he's not doing it. He doesn't get. He's too rich.
Yeah.
Fuck you. He was like he was like a really famous lawyer where he did what's called NASD arbitration. So if you ever see these lawsuits, like did the stock go down? Like sue the company. Like he started all of that. And he minted money he also was like the lawyer that who represented the child in the Michael Jackson case.
Yeah.
So he's like a very well-known lawyer. And he wakes up every morning. He does hot yoga at his house. He
Like
drinks-
Bikram?
d-
Or like
Bikram,
power
hot
or
yoga,
power flow hot
like
yoga.
hot,
I need
like
to know.
the most difficult kind of
Yeah.
yoga if you're 90.
Okay.
He does that.
Yeah.
Then he goes to like the country club. He has 4 or 5 drinks. And I'm like, Dennis, you really shouldn't be drinking like that. And he's like, I'm 91. I've had a bunch of doctors. He also is an actor, by the way. He's like, I had a bunch of doctors. They all told me to stop drinking. Do you know where they are now? And I was like, where are they? He's like, they're all dead.
Yeah.
And I'm alive.
Yeah.
And I'm happy.
Yeah, it's like Trump
Yeah.
eating McDonald's every day.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like
all
whatever.
alive.
Yeah.
80.
So yeah, the best coaches are unpaid. Like
Oh,
if
for
you're a coach who wants
It's
money,
mentorship.
yeah, if you're a coach who wants money for it,
Yeah.
that's a grift.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's mentorship.
So I don't have a coach, but
Yeah. Why don't you mentor me? What the fuck, dude?
I don't know that you want me to. I don't know. Like you're better at raising money. You're better at like, podcast.
Need the mentorship. You're better at building a real business.
Yeah, it goes to like time and energy. So if I spend 99% of my time increasing the value of Umbra stock by
Yeah.
3%,
That's best. You
like
should do that.
my is gonna impact my net worth.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah,
for
much
sure.
more than.
And then you don't even need to coach me. You can just give me perks.
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I also but the amount of time it would take to like learn how to trade crypto would probably not.
Yeah,
be.
for the crypto stuff, that's just I don't think we're like too busy with our companies to really like I can't get involved with
read
it.
paper. Like you're gonna read a paper. Like the last thing I want to do is read a paper on diarrhea coin.
On fart coin or whatever these coins are. Why do they have to do so many gross coins?
so
Like I don't like that stuff like that. I don't know. Just
but then even
it's not funny. I don't even get it.
And then the funny ones aren't funny, like the Joe Bowden or like all those Pepe. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
the Hawk Tua coin, like all these
Yeah.
coins.
silly.
I don't get it really.
I'd rather just like invent the QR code,
Invent the QR. Yeah, the
Invent the
inventor of the QR.
sell
code.
my company,
Yeah.
and then build cool machine guns.
Yeah.
Like that's way better.
Well, now I mean, with this company is all about Luke. Obviously Luke. You met Luke before me.
He's amazing.
And this is his company, and we're all just supporting characters. I always tell this company, I'm like, this is like the Luke show. He's the inventor,
Mhm.
and we're all just here, like letting him do it. We got you, bro. Like that's literally the business plan. It's like a
Yeah.
1-page business plan. It's like, well, Luke's doing this, and
But
then we're
that
all
was, I mean, that
here.
was ours at Umbra.
Yeah.
Like, so Dave, my co-founder, did invent the technology. He had all the background. He had everything. But what he didn't have is like, well, how do you raise money, or like how? do you
that's
get
like
to-
where you and I come in. Yeah.
yeah.
But that's the thing. Like you mentioned Jack Northrop earlier. It's like the reason I called it Allen Control Systems is I wanted to harken back to the days where all the primes started as the guy's name.
Yeah.
So like later, if we ever merge like with a Grumman,
Yeah.
it'll be like Allen. I wanted that arc. Like I wanted it to be like it's
Oh,
just
I
like the
love
Jack
that.
Northrop days. It's
But
Allen.
wait, who's
Luke Allen.
Oh, Luke
That's why it's called Allen Control Systems. Just like Jack Northrop,
Ah.
Northrop Grumman. It's all the same. Like,
I love it.
and I really wanted to do that versus like make a like Middle Earth name or something.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go
I see what
I wanted to
that
go full like old school with it.
I love it.
Dude, so that when you're on the hill, they're always like, oh, Allen Control Systems.
Well, you need to stop vaping and start
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes.
yeah,
for growing up.
yeah, like a real
Yeah.
a real Northrop Grumman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. But honestly, like the real cigs, which I used to smoke in the Navy, obviously, I could smoke like a
sure.
chin, and they kill my lungs. Like it's just, I want the nicotine, but I don't want the.
Doesn't do the pouch.
Yeah, I think I need to
Lucy.
switch to the pouch. Like,
I don't know. The Tucker Carlson pouch is probably.
I mean, it's all bad. It all raises your blood pressure. It's all
But
just
it's
bad.
focused. I mean, so I actually read a really interesting. So I have terrible ADD, like many entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
do.
of course we all do.
Yeah, and I read that a study. I guess I do read papers on like how nicotine actually is a cure for ADD, because if you have whatever it does to your brain, you're actually able to focus while you have nicotine in your system.
Yeah, there are small health benefits of nicotine, and then there's a bunch of really bad things that it does. We are not promoting nicotine. My mom's gonna hear this. Like,
Yeah, not
can't
medical advice.
She's always like calling me. She's like, "You can't be vaping on the podcast, and then you can't also promote it. Like, what are you doing?"
You can't promote a cure for ADD that makes you rich.
Yeah, nicotine. All right, Gabe. Well, I'll let you get back to work. It's been a sick pod, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking
Great.
awesome, dog.
Love you.
Thanks, sir.
I don't know. This is okay. Okay.
What? We got to hug.
We have to
We'll
go
cut
like
that
this.
in.
We'll
Cut.
hug.
Oh no, we got.
We can
We
hug.
gotta. Wait.
This
cut,
is. Oh,
Jack,
by the
cut
way,
this.
this is actually the set of Between Two Ferns.
Yeah, this is. We're cutting. Jack, cut the handshake, and we do
That was
this.
so awkward.
Yeah, we do this. Okay, we'll keep it all actually.
Yeah, we'll keep it all.